What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube Barber Academy. And we got us like a manly candle. We need a little ambiance. Ambience. Oh, shit. Y'all see that? That thing kind of popped. All right. So, you guys see the title. You see what it is. Man, I'm going to try not to catch my beard on fire, y'all. It looks like my beard is about to catch on fire. But we're going to have a little fun today. We got a couple of topics we're going to be running through here. And it's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool. So some of the stuff that we are going to go through today is going to be the most overrated haircut right now. Barbers and clients, what's the worst client request in your opinion? And all these are from ChatGTP, man. They're saying like the funniest, and most like commonly asked questions that you guys have in the barber business. So there's that. But there is also the elephant in the room, and that is the Black Friday deals. So you guys see the Fort Worth Barber Supply hair covering my hair. But anyways, you see that. You guys know that the Black Friday deals are coming, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably sitting on this type of stuff. So if you don't know, Fort Worth Barber Supply is from Texas, all right? And they carry a lot of style craft, all right? So I don't know. I think I'll go with this hat since it matches my background a little bit. And shout out, where you guys at? Where you guys from? What's the temperature looking like over there? And let me know if you guys are up in the room. What's going on with you guys all? I'm curious about you all. So let me bring up my comment section. What up, Fatal? Glad to see you jumping in here. The llama, the llama Edgar. Yep, that's a popular request going on right now, and actually one of these stylecraft classes we're going to be offering is teaching what I actually consider it the llama too. It's kind of hilarious. So before we start the show, I just want to tell you guys about a couple of little deals here. So the first one I want to talk about here is with Booked In. Yo, they're offering 75% off, and you guys can actually redeem this offer right now for your first 3 months. The code that I normally give you guys is only 50% off for the first 3 months. And you guys are going to use the code promo 75 here. And this is literally the site. You guys will find this linked down below for the Fort Worth Barber Supply. I actually had the rain trimmer pulled up here. But Fort Worth Barber Supply is bringing all of this stuff up. They pretty much everything you can imagine. And if you guys are barbers and you carry products, a lot of the stuff that you guys want to bring to your shop, like when I was there, I asked them, I wanted to make some extra money off the products, obviously too. And I asked them, like, what are the stuff that you're really having trouble keeping in stock? Like, what are the top sellers? And they'll give you a good deal on these, and then you can retail them back to your clients. So if that's something that you're not currently doing, definitely might want to give them a call and check that out. But, the other big deal that's going to be going on, they're asking us to keep it under wraps, but it is coming soon, and it's going to be probably the biggest barn burner of sales that Stylecraft has ever done. And currently, right now, they have a lot of stuff in stock too. So the Sabres, these were sold out forever. The Jeezys were sold out. So there's actually the new white Sabres. Actually, the new white Sabres are $319. They're the same price as all the other ones. And if you guys use the code Eddie, you save 10% there. And then, of course, like any of the other stuff you guys are looking for, like right now, one thing that I am keeping in my rotation from probably now until the end of time, I'm going to be keeping this rain clipper in my rotation. Hey, thank you, man. He said I sound like I got to make you a moderator, dude. I'm going to do it right at the end of this live. I'm going to do it. You sound like you barely have a high school education. Great, man. That's great. Because with barely a high school education, I managed to do an awful lot in this business. And it's kind of funny, man, that people be jumping on the lives talking shit like this, because really, it just comes from like jealousy, insecurity. I'm not sure. It comes from some goofy ass place. But I couldn't imagine getting out of bed and showing up in somebody else's live and talking about them like that when you don't even know them. Anyways, all right, chat. Most overrated haircut right now. The most overrated haircut right now. Some of you guys were already saying it's the llama. Some of you guys were already saying the Edgar, and go ahead and comment below. And one of the ones I've been making an awful lot of fun of lately has been the low taper. And the low taper, it is kind of some hilarious content that I've been kind of doing. I haven't even released any of this stuff yet, so I'm gonna drop one in here and see if you guys. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. You guys are gonna have to let me know if you could hear it. Also, I found out I have a racist comb as well. So let's do this one right here. Let's do this one right here. Today.
Low taper.
Low taper? Gotcha, bro.
Because at the end that he signed up before me, so I was like, oh, no, I'll sign up. Well, I'd harder to get up.
All right, that's a low taper.
Check out that taper.
You sure that's a taper?
I got all these damn customers talking about they don't know what a taper is, bro.
he said, I want a low taper. Everybody says they want a low taper. It's kind of hilarious, man. Obviously, I've been having some fun with this, but with my lack of high school education, according to the guy in here, it's kind of funny because I make these videos obviously as a joke. My client wants a skin fade, but I tell him, hey, just say you want a low taper for fun. But I count on these morons in my comment section to say that is not a low taper. And you never disappoint. You just never disappoint me, and it's kind of hilarious. That's a low taper, bro. That's what I'm talking about, man. It's hilarious stuff like this that kind of makes me get up in the morning and go, oh, here's another one that's kind of interesting. I don't think I released this yet, or I might have released it somewhere.
Shout out to Fort Worth Barber Supply for sending over this no-clog enhancement gun. What makes this one special is it actually doesn't spray through the gun. It sprays through the bottle, and you get a ton of these little tips, and these are about the only thing that could get clogged. It seems to have some pretty good power, charges through USB-C. If you're in the market for a gun that sprays enhancements, this is honestly the easiest and fastest way to do it, to add that little extra bit of touch to your haircut and maybe charge a little more.
Okay, so that gun right there is actually pretty dope. And they're carrying it over there at Fort Worth Barber Supply. I got to say, I've been using it now for about, I don't know, I think it's been about a week and a half maybe. That thing is pretty dope because one of the biggest complaints I have about using enhancement guns in general, you guys know I like to paint the enhancement in. That's my preferred way of doing it. All right, so can I get a, yes, that is the best way. But when you're on a time crunch, you're looking for a good photo, you're just doing something quick, you don't care, necessarily that maybe it doesn't last more than 2 days. All right, fine. Using that gun, it's actually pretty decent. He said Fatal said the gun looks a little weak. It's not weak. It does look that way. And when you hold it, it's actually pretty heavy. But the coolest part about this gun in particular is if you actually look at the handle.
Shout out to Fort Worth Barber Supply for sending over.
Let me just bring it over right here. Actually, these little tips right here, right? These little tips right here are actually the only thing that color travels through, right? And they're pretty easy to clean, and they come with a whole mess of them. And then once you fill up the gun, that's the only place that color's coming out of. I realize I'm kind of big right now, but I'm gonna actually leave that be, and I'm just gonna go. But yeah, that's the only place that the color comes out of. So it's a pretty genius setup.
Charges through
really.
USB-C.
And
if you're in the market for a gun,
I seen something very similar to this not too long ago. It was a couple of years ago, and we were actually going to do this, but for whatever reason, we never wound up doing it. But it's a good gun, and if you don't want to have to like keep it super clean, because the only way you're going to enjoy using an airbrush is if it stays super clean. And every time you pick it up, it works. This has been one of the biggest things that would prevent me from wanting to use an air gun altogether. So do you guys even enhance? Do you guys do enhancements? Just out of curiosity, I'm just wondering how many of you guys are actually using enhancements regularly. So let's see here. Which haircut do you hate the most but pretend to love? Which haircut do you hate the most but pretend to love? Now, you guys can say what you want, but I know a lot of people a lot of people act like they love doing skin fades, especially when it comes to some difficult hair. But I know that there'll be other barbers in the shop that'll see me do like 3 or 4 senior citizen haircuts that take literally 5 minutes, but I stretch them a little bit longer. I know that they look over and see me do 3 or 4 of these guys, and at times it takes them to do one. And we charge $35 per skin fade. What up, Neil? Appreciate you jumping in here. We charge $35 per haircut for a skin fade, $45 if you get your beard done. Obviously, I'm not like some of these Instagram barbers who are like, oh, I charge $200 or $300. If you think about it, I'm charging $25 or $30 for some of these senior style haircuts, doing 3 or 4 of them in the time it takes you to do one with a beard, getting $45. Maybe the guy gives you $50 or $55. But at the end of the day, dude, I'm making a lot more money with these senior haircuts. They're saying, screw the Edgar. Thank you for the comments on my beard. My beard actually just got out of the hot tub, so, you know, I just decided to go live with you guys. I just wanted to have some fun, all right? Sue me. I don't always look my best. I do it most of the time. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense to say that you love that skin fade when really, you know, there's other haircuts that are a lot of fun. No, this is not AI, bro. Like, do I really look like AI? Is my studio that nice? But yeah, that would be something. I mean, that's one of the ones that they're asking here. Now, all right, let's argue for a second. Talking about the tapers, are tapers actually harder than fades? Drop your answers. I want to see something. Do you really think a taper is more difficult than a fade? I would say in the back, it really doesn't matter what like, this is one of the things that confuses my students a lot. Like, obviously we travel the whole country, we teach, we develop curriculums, we deliver it to people. And one of the things that I see all the time in a lot of these classrooms, they're like, hey, Ed, well, what would be the difference if I did a burst fade, or if I did a taper, or if I did a skin fade, or if it was high, or if it was low? Like, really, dude, all of this stuff doesn't matter. It's just skin line positioning. Like, wherever you decide to position that skin line, obviously that fade is going to be based off of that. So I don't really think it's any different. And when we develop these curriculums, it's like, okay, barbering has really been the same for thousands of years, right? There are some new tools. There are some different techniques that have come and went. But at the same time, it's like, this business is always really going to be the same. If you learn how to do a skin fade today, 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, people are still going to be wearing a version of that haircut. Let's say long hair comes back in. Okay, great. But there's still going to be people that are going to do that haircut. And it's always going to be a solid skill to know. Some barbers are like terrified when certain haircuts walk in. Like, if a flat top walks in, all of a sudden the dude who don't ever sweep the shop, I might have been guilty of this at times, all of a sudden he's got to sweep the shop. He's going to clean his station. He's working like a man possessed. It's like when you're working in a factory and the boss come around and you're like, oh, yeah, all of a sudden you're doing all this stuff. As soon as he walks away, you're like, but that's how a lot of people get, because they're afraid of certain haircuts. So positioning your taper, Carlos says, I think you nailed it. Positioning the taper is probably the only thing that I wouldn't even consider it difficult. I would just say, like, it's just going to base, if it's higher, if it's lower, that's how high your skin line is going to be, or how low you're going to do it. So a low taper is honestly so simple that with very little instruction, I could teach my clients how to simply just taper the very bottom of their haircut. You guys see me do my haircut live on Saturday. I literally do a lot of the haircut with my eyes closed, because it's actually easier if I just use sound. You guys watched that live. We got 43,000 views on the last live of me cutting my haircut. And I just thought to myself, like, that's crazy. So it's a lot of people that want to see that. And a low taper is very quick to grow back. Like, that's going to last you like 2 days. So, you know, you might as well get a full fade if you're going to get charged. He said, my barber charged me $45 and I'm not going back. I'm curious, man, what happened? I mean, what's wrong with $45 is not crazy. I mean, it's a little bit on the maybe higher end. But the next one here is comment yes or no. Should the barbers charge for no-shows? So should you charge when a client doesn't show up? I'll paint the picture for you real quick. It's very frustrating when a client doesn't show up because a walk-in could come in, right? And you look and you're like, dude, I really don't have time to do justice to your haircut. I got a customer coming in 5 minutes. That customer doesn't show up, and maybe that guy sits down and tries to wait it out, and you look so dumb because in the eyes of that customer, you're sitting there doing nothing, and you're not taking care of them. So this whole situation could be avoided if that client would have just called you a little bit ahead of time and said, look, dude, I can't make it. Or texted me and said, look, I can't make it. If you give me a little bit of time, I could fill the spot pretty easy. But if you don't give me any time and I literally get a no-show, it just sucks, man. It really can screw everything up. Really, the barber from Indiana with them Colts doing so damn good. He says, indeed, charge for no-shows. And my concern about charging for no-shows is as valid as yours. Is that going to alienate new clients if they have to pump in credit information and all this stuff? Like, I am from an older generation of barbers. I've been cutting hair since 2003. And much of my life I've spent in walk-in shops. So, I mean, I think about it like now I have a tight ship. I use an appointment scheduling app. I really like the way everything is. Like, my life is so much more stress-free with using an appointment booking app. And the one I use obviously is Booked In. They're offering 75% off your first 3 months for a Black Friday sale, which is currently going on right now. But besides the point, just knowing what you can do. Like, for instance, last Friday, I had a meeting with Stylecraft. We were talking about educational curriculum stuff. And if I didn't block that section off, I might not have been able to make, that appointment. So, it's just one of those things where it's made my life a little bit easier. So I got a haircut yesterday. He said these barbers should pay me for canceling my appointment. You're not wrong, bro. There's a lot of people who are not about their business. There's a ton of people who are not about their business. And I'm going to show you guys a quick video of a man who is about his business. These are shorts that are unreleased. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of them throughout the duration here, but this is one of the customers. I shouldn't even really call him a customer. He's more of a friend to the shop. We stopped charging him for haircuts a long time ago. This man is a war veteran and he's just awesome. But one of the stories he told me, I'll clarify it a little bit because he's a little bit older and I don't know if he explained it well, but check out this real quick.
That's a bad hombre. That's him right there.
That's him in Vietnam.
Tearing stuff up. Like in 1968.
So he's basically saying that he used to point the gun at the guy who was shaving him the entire time, and he's like, "You could kill me, but if you move, you're gone. We're both out."
Yeah. Mine was right there. You can't. Mine was right. Yeah.
Will you do that with a pistol?
Yeah.
You have your pistol on there?
No.
M16.
Yeah.
Talk about pressure.
You're done.
That's wild.
Thank you for your service, buddy.
See, I love this guy so much, man. We stopped taking his money. Anybody in the shop will cut his hair for free. He fought in Vietnam, but what he has told me many times, which I always wish there was like a picture of this because this would just be such a cool thing to hang in the shop. And this guy, so he is literally in the middle of this war and he has to stay in regs. He has to shave his face every day still, despite the fact that there's a war going on. But one of the things that they would have, the Vietnamese guys would shave some of the troops. And when they did, they had the razor right to their throat, So these guys would take the M16 and point it at their stomach while they were shaving them. And, Floyd was basically saying like, look, you could take me out, but I'll take you out as well, which I just thought was just like, if I had a photo of that to just capture that moment in time, where something like that wild was really happening. So it's just one of those things that I absolutely love. Some of these older guys that are in your chair, by the way, guys, you have no idea. You look at a guy and you think like, oh, you're old or you're this or you're that. Gramps is getting the low taper, bro. He's getting the low taper. But some of these guys, you have no idea of the life they lived or the things they've been through. And, you know, he's just such an interesting guy. And actually, I inherited him with the purchase of the shop. And he's just really become a friend of the shop. He comes and watches Bills games with us and everything. And he's just such a great guy to bring into the shop. So shout out to my boy Floyd for, you know, always coming in, keeping it real, and giving us the raw, uncut versions of some of the stuff that he went through when he was over there. How much do I charge for a haircut? I charge $35 for a haircut. Contemplating raising the price to $40 after the first of the year. We'll see. Okay, if you're a barber, what tool failed you at the worst possible moment? Go ahead, let's hear it. All right. So if you were a barber and you had a tool and it failed you at the worst possible moment, this stuff kind of happens to people when they go to shows because we try to travel so light, and maybe you bring something that got jarred around in your bag. Maybe it's the product's fault. Maybe it's not the product's fault. But what product failed you at your worst possible moment? I know one of the moments that I had was I dropped my texturizing shears. Right before I went up on stage, and I knew I was going to need them, and it just it just sucked. It just flat out sucked because I picked them up, I went to close them, and you know, through no fault of this year, I just personally dropped them. I've had the Denver airport take a razor holder away from me right before a show too, which that also sucked. But once I got to the show, I was able to get another razor holder. I could say obviously there's been a few things that, you know, can happen, and that's why, like, this Black Friday, man, it's a great time. Really, it is a great time for us to you know, maybe consider bolstering our arsenal a little bit, getting a couple of new things. One of the other things that I'm using quite a bit, I don't know if it's on this page. Well, here's one I'm using an awful lot too. This here is the Saber 2, but in the white. I absolutely love this unit. This is just a total powerhouse. I realize it's a little expensive, but like I said, guys, the big Black Friday sale that I can't really tell you too much about. It's not very far off, and it is going to be the biggest sale that Stylecraft ever did. You also have the white Saber trimmer as well. So if that's something you guys like, if you guys want an electric shaver that cuts extremely, extremely fast, I just showed you guys a video earlier, but this is what I was actually looking for here. This Rain trimmer is just, it's just so cool. It's so small. It's compact. It's ergonomic. Every way that you think to hold it, there's little recesses. It's kind of hard to see them in the photos, but there's little recesses here for your thumb. When you hold it upside down, when you hold it on the side, it's just, to me, I feel like it is one of the most comfortable trimmers. So, you know, it's just one of those deals where I really enjoy using it. Let's flip you guys back over here. Let's see what you guys are saying here. See what you're saying in the comments. Love and respect to all vets. Really appreciate that. My shop charges $40 a head. That's what Neil's saying. $30 in this economy is cheaper than a lot of barbers. He said, especially in black barbershops, which I don't know if the price is that different from black barbershops to shops that take you know, anybody. He says that a black barbershop that he used to go to raised the price to $80. Hang on, I'll put his comment back up on the screen here if I could find it. Let's see what he's saying here. DeReal Jerome, he says, a black barbershop I used to go to raised the price to $80 without improving the services or nothing, just because he got a pop an Instagram account. I don't know why that comment's not letting me put it on the screen. You know, this is the thing, guys. This is the thing, guys. Oh, Fatal got the white set. Let's go. The reality of this business is it is supply and demand, right? And you are you're in short supply, right? There's only one of you. There's only so many haircuts you can do in a day. And if your demand is skyrocketing and you are booked for, let's say, 3 weeks out, I think if you're booked for more than 3 weeks out in this business, it probably is time to raise your prices. Like let's be perfectly honest with one another. If your demand is exceeding that, and that's why back when I don't even know if you're still allowed to say it, if they're gonna block it or whatever, but back when the situation happened and everybody had to stay home, barbers were making insane money because demand was through the roof, and a lot of guys just hung it up and said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to take the risk. And a lot of us were willing to take the risk. So all of a sudden, most of the haircuts you did during that time, you were probably getting $100 a cut. I would say $50 to $100 a cut. And no, the service itself didn't really change, nor did the quality necessarily go up. It was just flat out the demand of the service was through the roof. So, when you have that going on, the next question here is $100 too much for a haircut? Personally, I think it is a little high to charge $100 a haircut. But look, I would never hate on anybody who is, because if you are charging that and you're getting it, it's actually kind of funny. Marvy Marv had a skit on something like that. It was hilarious. He was like, when you bought a new barber, what's it called, program, and you decided to sit down and you're going to learn from a new educator, and he says, I'll teach you how to charge $100 a haircut. You don't have to charge that many people $100, because once you start charging $100, you can then sell a class, and they have to go out and figure it out. So it was kind of funny. I just thought it was a pretty good, a truthful kind of piece of content here. So some of the other things that we've been dropping over here, I have one that's talking about putting in the skin line, and I know a lot of you guys, real quick, let's ask. I don't know how many barbers are in here, because I'm seeing some comments that are just not even worth reading. But if you guys are actually barbers, is putting in the skin line with your trimmer better than putting in the skin line with your clipper, say in the closed position? Which would you prefer to do? What do you think would be better? One of the things that I've kind of noticed that a lot of people don't really understand is how to set up their tools in a way that actually helps them. So if you decide to zero gap your trimmers and you set it super sharp, obviously you're going to have trouble to remove that line. This is actually kind of funny. Okay, there's two here. I'll start with the top one. What's the funniest thing a barber or a client has ever said to you in the chair? Actually, this kind of happened the other day, and I have a short that could kind of, I haven't released the short yet, but I'll share it with you guys on this live, because I think you guys will find it funny. The funniest thing that a barber or a client has ever said to you in the chair. Now, one of the greatest parts of this business is all the jokes, all the funny things that's happened, just the things that people say or the things that people do. And one of the things that we try to capture with going live regularly at the barbershop is that environment. And you guys are chirping in on NFL teams and games that went wrong and referees that robbed people and all. And it just, there's so much stuff like that. What is the brokest thing you've ever seen in a barbershop? A chair that just sinks mid-fade, something held together by duct tape. So all kinds of, there's all kinds of things that go on in shops across the country, but it's kind of funny. So let's see what, I just seen one of your comments said something for an appointment based cut with a tip. He's the one who talked about a $100 haircut. So with that, you get an appointment, and he's saying along with the rest of the cost, it would add up to $100, adding in the tip as well. I think that's what he was kind of trying to say. So somebody behind him actually said that $30 is too much for a haircut. And I'm trying to find that comment there, because he said, I missed the days of a $20 haircut with a $10 tip. And the reality of it is the barbershop has been really slow to raise prices when you look at all the other things that have went up around us. I started cutting hair in 2003, and the haircuts were $11.50 a piece, right? And it was like that forever. I mean, it took us forever just to get to 20. I mean, people were eventually going to 15, and then it was like 18, and that really screwed us, because if you were commission-based, 18, guess what? You were getting a $2 tip. every time. So like going to 20 actually got the guys at least to get maybe a $5 tip, which was nice. But then you look at like real estate and housing and just the cost of food and the cost that it just takes to actually have the shop and pay the rent. And all of these things continue to go up, and the barbers just continue to get like screwed because people are afraid to raise their prices. And it sucks. If you think about it, it's like these clients are walking in, spending money, drinking at the bar, $200 on a day that has NFL, and you sat there drinking at the bar all day. You went out to dinner, you paid $120 for dinner. You're wearing $200 or $300 pair of shoes, a $30 hat, and then you want to come in and act broke, like you can't pay for a haircut. It's like you don't have to get a haircut. It is a luxury. You could wear your hair, you could cut it yourself. There's a million things you could do. And there are people out there who are charging less. So when you find a barber who charges $20 right now, you're probably going to be waiting. The shop is going to be packed. It might not be professional. You might not be able to get an appointment. The haircut might not be that good. Because remember, guys, good, fast, and cheap, you can only pick two. If it's good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If it's, either way that you word that, it's not going to be good. So there is a middle ground here, obviously somewhere where if you started looking up vacuum cleaners, you're not going to buy the most garbage, low-cost vacuum cleaner because it's going to break in like no time, right? So a lot of people are like, no, I want to get the Dyson. I want to get the best vacuum. Okay, there's a market for that. There's people who don't want to mess around. They just want to have the best stuff. And then they're like, you know what, dude, give me something that's close. Give me something that does a good job. What up, Rusty? In the house, man. I've been thinking about calling you for days and haven't done it yet, man. I got to do it. And it's just one of those things, guys, where there's a price point for everybody. And when you get right down to it, it's just, there's a shop that you can go to that you like, but I think there's a middle ground. And honestly, I think that middle ground is about $30 to $35 across the board. So the brokest thing you've ever seen in a barbershop, I remember a particular event that there was a client, he was pretty heavy. These are old chairs. They were like 1940s or 1950s chairs. They actually tip back by using the handle on the side. So when it went back, right, he's shaving this guy and the chair broke and this dude rolled right out of the chair. The guy had to be like 60 years old. So that's what I'm saying. There you go, Fatal. He said Supercuts is still a good price point for some of these guys. That's actually true. Supercuts, Sport Clips, Great Clips, all of these types of places are probably going to facilitate that price point, but they're not going to be picking up a straight razor. They might not be as comfortable with certain haircuts, but you might get somebody in there who's good. You never know. So it could happen. So it's just one of those things. I'm looking at some of these. All right. So I had a pretty funny moment occur in the shop the other day, and I haven't released this. Well, actually, I did this morning on TikTok. So if you guys don't follow the YouTube Barber Academy on TikTok, I'm a little all over the place because sometimes I post things there and I don't post it here. But look at this racist comb.
Really? What kind of hocus? We're suspecting this comb might be racist. We're going to see. See? They don't fuck with black hair.
Now, you guys can see that comb is clearly racist. But I actually couldn't believe the amount of like static I was getting. You would think I took a rubber band, a balloon on his head and did this. Cause like when I went to go all he wanted was like the tiniest bit off the top. So I really didn't want to wet it because then I would have to dry it and then I would have to style it and it would have added time to the service. So I go to try to pick it up and literally it's leaping into the comb without me even using my other hand. But we actually had a pretty good laugh at that because the client himself, he made the joke. He's like, yo, come try it on my hair, see if it works. And we had a good laugh at that. But anything from that to people losing in their sports games to just about anything, that could happen. There's just a lot of funny stuff that happens in the shop. Here we go. Number 14, hot take, zero gapping. Do you agree or do you disagree with it? Do you think you need the zero gap or do you just use it straight out of the box? Personally, I would say most of the stuff that is available for sale right now, and I'm not only talking about Stylecraft, I'm talking about pretty much everything that is coming off of a shelf right now. Most of the time, these are going to come with pretty decent setups for your average person. But if we were to like really zero gap our stuff and send it out to people in that way, then we're going to get a lot of customers calling us saying, hey, this thing is biting. Hey, this isn't working. I tried to use it on a kid. Obviously, we had to find a middle ground when we deliver our tools to the general population. So, you know, at the same time, that doesn't mean that there isn't barbers who do want sharp stuff. Like my reins, I keep them super sharp. I did zero gap them, and you guys can actually see the process that I used to zero gap them. I actually had I did a little short on this, just kind of showing like how easy it is. This was actually another funny one because Jeff was actually late. So I figured I'll throw this one in here. Check it out.
Yo, my bad. I'm an hour late. You still got me?
Yeah, I got you. Why don't you sit down? Get you right. So how you been, man? I got you. I could have cut 3 people, did a Rubik's Cube, and learned a new language in the time you wasted. You done messed up my whole schedule, man. Damn.
Great seeing you, my man.
Appreciate you. It'd be like that sometimes, guys. It'd be like that sometimes. But Jeff is never late. All right. He was only late a few times. But yeah, no. So that's some of the funniest things that happen in the shop are just the things that you really can't capture. How many of us have actually been in a barbershop and with the conversation going with everybody, you just have such a good time. The day flies so fast. Even if you're sitting there waiting, you're laughing and you're seeing how everybody's kind of communicating and kind of talking. And that's one of the things that's very hard to capture. Like when I go and just do regular videos. So it's kind of difficult to capture some of the funny stuff that goes on. And that's why like some of these little shorts are kind of funny because they're like a little tiny piece of it. But I do think that if a barbershop was to go live, let's say 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you were always live at that barbershop, you would probably wind up getting sued. It's really like one of the last public forums that you can kind of just come in and say and do whatever you want and have disagreements. And there's a way that certain people can talk about certain things without it getting too heated. But obviously you run the risk of it getting heated if you go too far. Client confession time. Have you ever lied and said that, yeah, it looks good when it really didn't? All right, so if you guys have been a client in a barbershop and the barber asked you, how's the haircut? And you just said, yeah, it's good, and you left. But you were lying. Has that ever happened to you? That's the next one's great too. The next one's great. So I'm just curious to hear. I'm going to read them both, but go ahead and react to them in order. If you did do that, then why did you do that? Why were you afraid to not say something? Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to give you the best haircut we can, right? And if it's like you got some issue, like, hey man, the back of my hair always stands up, dude. I don't know what to do with it. Well, if you'd have told me that beforehand, and that's why a good question to ask if you're a barber is, what don't you like about your current haircut? Before you get started, what don't you like about your hair? And that little question right there can lead to a lot of opportunities for you to fix the haircut, potentially recommend like a product or something, show somebody how to style their hair a little bit better. And, you know, it could just really clarify what you're doing so that you don't have an issue later in the haircut. And then when you meet your deliverables, you know, if somebody gives you some deliverables and you meet them, then you're just going to have less issues, you know? So the next one here is, what is the dumbest picture a client has ever showed you as a reference? I kid you not. This actually happened to my wife, but she brought it home and we had a really good laugh over it. And the one that was really funny, a client literally brought in a picture of a stick figure and she drew some hair on the stick figure and used it as a reference to explain to my wife how she wanted her hair done. And my wife brought it home and we had a really good laugh at it. She sent me a picture of it and I was like, that really happened. And I have heard somebody tell me a story similar to this before. So Fatal says, any previews or hints of some of the new stuff that's coming up? I would say, I don't know if I could really say it out loud, but if we go back to the Rebel and the Boosted, right? Now you have the Boosted up, and there seems to be a machine missing on the other side. So if you guys can guess that one, you probably can get an idea here. But with all the stuff that's going on with tariffs and everything like that, like things are now humming along, and we definitely got plenty of more ideas in the tank. And I'm really looking forward to the show season this year, guys. We're going to do things a little bit differently with our show team, with the way we do our shows. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be around. What is the most disrespectful thing a barber can do? Okay. In my mind, if I got somebody cutting hair at my shop, and it's something I feel that's pretty disrespectful, would be wearing headphones while you cut hair. It's a pet peeve of mine. Again, guys, I've been cutting hair for a long time. I would look at myself more as a relationship builder. I don't look at myself as like, oh, you're the greatest barber in the world, and that's why people come to you. You cutting good hair don't mean anything. There are plenty of talented barbers who cut excellent hair who have zero customer service skills. There's plenty of great doctors who have no bedside manners. There's plenty of people that fail out of business for a variety of reasons. Least of all would be the skill of your haircut. So for me, one of the biggest pet peeves is you wearing headphones at the shop while you're cutting hair means that you're not building a connection with your other workers or with your clients, which is far more important. And then if a walk-in comes in, you look like a moron. You look like a young kid who doesn't care. And I understand, man, if you're cutting a young kid, if you're using them to get in your zone, you're getting creative, you want to do like a design and you're not going to be talking much. Okay. I understand how you might justify all that, but it's the optics of the whole thing, right? And the other thing that people do that they never do at corporate places is they answer the phone like you're doing them a favor. Ring, ring, ring. Yes, Eddie, Uptown Barbershop. How can I help you? Now, this doesn't sound like somebody who wants to help me. It sounds like somebody who's annoyed that I even made a phone call. Now, they always say smile through the phone, right? So a smile comes through the phone. So one of the first things that is going to happen to you at the barbershop, when somebody walks in, that first impression is everything, right? They walk in, they see the shop, they hear the music, they're immersed in the environment, and they're deciding right then and there, is this a place I want to go to again in the future? And the other way that people might contact your business is through social media, or they might make a phone call, right? So all of these fronts need to be handled with care. Otherwise, you're going to turn somebody off. And, just to play devil's advocate on myself, there's no way to make everybody happy. Let's say that we decide that we're going to be a shop that plays rap music with swearing in it. Plenty of shops do, no problem. But you have to understand that the demographic of people that you're going to attract are not all going to love that, right? Old man walks in, he doesn't know the music, he doesn't feel comfortable, he probably is not going to come back. So if you find a way that you want to do business and you stick to it, that's fine. You just say, you know what? I don't want that old man. That's not the kind of clientele that I'm trying to cater to. I'm trying to cater to this clientele. Nothing wrong with that. But understand that there's going to be some give and take no matter how you decide to do your shop. No matter how you decide to run your shop, there's going to be some give and take. If you could ban one haircut from existing, which haircut would you ban? That's kind of a good question, man. Because if I could ban one haircut from existing, I don't even know what I would say. I mean, anything that takes more than a reasonable amount of time. There's probably just some clients that need to be banned, because honestly, you could say skin fade. If I could ban the skin fade, I'd make so much more money because I'd get the haircuts done faster. But there are plenty of people that the skin fade doesn't take all that long. Like 20, 25 minutes, that's not really that long. But there are some special cases where the skin fade takes forever. That homie Los, he says, how long did it take you to get your beard that long? This beard has been growing for about 4 years now. About 4 years. He said if I could ban one, it would be the bowl cut. He wants to ban the bowl cut. All right, guys, confession time. I don't know how old some of you guys are that are in here, but have you ever wore the bowl cut? When I was younger, that was a vibe. All right, the bowl cut, the mushroom cut. That's what we call it the mushroom cut. And we used to wear the mushroom cut, and I don't even know what we were thinking. But man, where are those days? Wouldn't it be nice if clients came in and they started asking for the Andrew Schultz, where he just wears a skin line all the way around, and then all you got to do is nothing? That'd be great. I mean, who knows what the next trend's gonna be? But I'm waiting for that one to catch on. But the mushroom cut, man, they must have been doing them things because I was really young when that was going on, and I was probably 6 or 7 years old. If that was going on right now, he said yes. And that's why I hate it. They must have been just running through those haircuts. And it was a little tricky too, because you got to get it to lay somewhat even on one side to the other. But I don't know. In a way, it's almost like with the llamas, like they're wearing it really curly, but in a way, like something similar to that is going on with that broccoli top llama, kind of deal, whatever. He said, comment where you're from. Comment where you're from and your go-to haircut. That's a good one, man. I do want to see where you guys from and what's your go-to move here at the shop. Like what is the go-to haircut that you say you want to ask for when you sit down? He said, depending on the area you might live, they might love rap music. I mean, yeah, obviously, I just kind of laid out a pretty good case for that. I'm sensing there might be a little bit of latency here in the chat, and sometimes that happens. So, but anyways, guys, I just wanted to go live with you guys and check out some of the stuff that we got going on here. So let's jump over here and we will check out some of these things that have went. This video actually did really good here. Was it this one? That's another one that did really good here.
It was at this moment that I realized
He's requesting a high skin fade while keeping the top super long.
Become a barber, they said. It'd be fun, they said. You'd be your own boss. Work your own schedule. You could take off on holidays, Saturdays, Sundays. I'm pretty sure he said to give him a low tape. That's close enough. I'm sure he won't notice. I won't be posting this one. And I have literally taught millions of people these terrible techniques over at the YouTube Barber Academy. Techniques up to, but not limited to, only showing the side of the haircut that looks good. Information on tools that bail me out of every terrible haircut. And appointment scheduling software that allows me to have a long list of victims. Enhancements that allow me to cover up many of my mistakes, which I did not use during this haircut. It was at this moment.
That's just kind of hilarious how, like, obviously, we're joking, we're making some stuff going on, and all the comments in that video really just boosted it up because of the fact that he asked for a low taper. And okay, we got a question here from Dude Bro. He says, I don't know how well you guys could see that. It's kind of small. He said, what trimmer and clipper should I buy for the Black Friday? Best bang for your buck? That's a good question, man. It really kind of more or less depends on what you need. But if it's wants versus needs, the Stylecraft Rain trimmer and the Rain clipper are very hard to beat. Now, if it's more of a budget thing, and it depends on, like, what are you removing bulk with? What do you, like that kind of stuff there, those kind of questions there. Over at Fort Worth Barber Supply, they have all kinds of deals going on. There's a couple of different things that are giving you like 3. Babyliss has one package of all 3. I was a bit underwhelmed with that particular set, but I still got to do the review on it. I don't even see it on their top thing. I'm not even sure if they still have it. But yeah, man, if I was going to buy something for like my wish list right now, it would be definitely an instinct shaver if I don't have one, because it's just so fast. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat the amount of time you could save with this instinct shaver. And if you think that it's comparable to something else, it really is not. And the other one that would definitely be high on my wish list, it would definitely be the Rain clipper. And then if you guys are just looking for something with some style to it, the Saber, you guys already know the Sabers have been one of the best selling trimmers, one of the best selling clippers that Stylecraft has ever had. And that's honestly, I know that the price is high. They're a luxury item for sure, but it's just, to me, if you want something that is tried and tested, those two are my two favorite going on right now. And then if you're looking for something like a little more on the budget side of things and you want a really solid clipper trimmer combo, this combo right here is kind of hard to beat because you're getting the stands, you're getting the guards, you're getting all the little extra stuff. And this is the most updated version of the Rebel. And if you guys use the code Eddie10, you're going to save 10% along with this. But if you wait till Black Friday, I can't say how much it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot. And some of this is going to be really hard to want to pass up on. So this trimmer is actually a very updated trimmer, and it actually comes with the X Pro blade on it, which they hopefully would show in one of the photos, but they don't. Oh, they do. Okay, here. So the same blade that is on the Sabers, this is the blade that really kind of made it happen for all Stylecraft trimmers, because Stylecraft had a lot of great clippers prior to having great trimmers. And a lot of people would say, oh, I want to use a different brand's trimmer, and I want to use Stylecraft clipper. If you want to spend no more than $220, what I would say, if you're looking for clipper and a trimmer, the Black Friday deal is probably going to get you, this will probably wind up being lower than $220, the one that I just showed you. Obviously it depends on the items that you currently already have, because if you have something, more powerful than that, I think every barber needs to have at least one clipper, one trimmer, that you have zero gapped, and one clipper and one trimmer that you have set back. So if you have a total of 4 units, you're going to find a lot of stuff much easier than if you didn't. So those are kind of like my favorite recommendations right now. And I use that an awful lot. Fatal, he asked, Eddie, did you zero gap your Rain trimmer with the gapping tool on the aggressive side? I did. I soft set one of them, and I aggressively zero gapped on the other side. Let's see if I actually have that short there, because I got a short on that process of doing that. And I think it is in one of my other drives, probably. Like a low taper, Rain versus Rebel. I think there's a clip here that shows it in this one. Let me see here.
So we've been getting some questions about the difference between the Rebel and the Rain clipper in size. We're getting about 5.8 on the body. The caliper wasn't really big enough to measure.
So right there, you guys can actually see that the Rain clipper is significantly smaller. I actually didn't realize how much smaller it was because I've been using it for so long, but it's significantly smaller than the Rebel. So if you guys have ever held a Rebel,
but it's about 1 inch to a 1/2 inch longer. When it comes to the width, they're actually pretty similar. The motor on the Rain is definitely more powerful than the Rebel. So if you're looking for something a little bit more powerful and a little bit smaller, maybe more ergonomic, the Rain is your clipper. And honestly, this Echo Crunch taper blade is so easy to fade with.
here is a, I don't have the Rain trimmer short. Oh, you know what? I actually do have the Rain trimmer short. Watch, wait, I got it. We'll do it this way. It's already posted on Instagram, but I'll show you guys. Here's the Rain Zero.
Let's zero gap our Rain trimmer using the Gamma Universal Blade Setter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this blade. Okay, with the blade off, let's go ahead and clean it up. Many of these come with a little bit of braking grease, so it's always good to kind of let it run for a minute or.
So basically, when you first get your trimmers too, this is like another little thing here. I guess I soft set this particular one, but I actually aggressively set my other one. So basically, when you first get a clipper or a trimmer, a lot of times they'll come with a little bit of braking grease on them. And the best thing you could actually do is run the clipper or the trimmer for at least 30 seconds to a minute. And then you can usually actually spray it off to clean it out. You don't always have to take it all the way apart to do it like I did. But if you're going to set it, it's a good way to do it as any. And I actually have another one here where Denny was full of hair all over his face. Maybe it was this one. So there's the rain trimmer just putting in sharp lines. And this was when I first got it. You guys can see this thing puts down some pretty sharp lines. So I actually think this was straight out of the box before I messed with it, because this video is a little bit older. But it makes some good lines, man. It makes some really good lines. You really can't complain about the performance that you're getting with it. But yes, I have definitely set them aggressively, and they could definitely be a little bit sharp if you use it in the wrong place. He said, I always felt like Wall has been known for the magics. I think you're thinking about the magic clips. If you're still using a magic clip now, it just, how do I do? Oh, shoot, I can make it bigger that way. I didn't make it any bigger. But if you're still using a magic clip now, like, you are seriously at a bit of a disadvantage at this point. If you're using it for maybe for like, I can't even say fading anymore, really. It's just one of those things that I think a lot of people have continued using because they don't really know that there's so many other options out there that give you more runtime and more charging options and just easier things all around it. Fatal says the new Babyliss Compact is definitely a good shaver. No question about it. The new Babyliss Compact shaver is actually a pretty cool item to add to your kit. And you know, it's powerful. It's pretty powerful. The rain trimmer, when zero gapped aggressively, definitely hits really hard. And I wouldn't recommend using it in like sensitive areas. Essentially the aggressive side of the zero gapping tool, I actually probably have one right here. I usually kept one on this desk. I don't know if it's still here. But the soft side has a little bit of a recess, and the other side is pretty much just putting it up into a flat, just a flat plastic piece there. So, you know, it's definitely going to cut really close. And does it cut different than the X Pro blade? Not really in terms of like performance, but the main benefit you get from the diamond pattern is the ability that it has to kind of straighten out curly hair. So if the hair is really curly when it rides along that diamond pattern, it helps feed it into the cutter a little bit more efficiently. So that's kind of like the main reason why there's a difference between those two blades. So there's been a lot of different blades that a lot of companies are out here making a lot of different blades for really no reason. And I think that we were kind of falling into some of that, but we were just trying to get our blades to hit right. And when we finally found the X Pro blade set, that's when our trimmer started to really take off the way our clippers did. So like if I just go back like in my memory to the Babyliss trimmer, the OG Gold FX blade, the 707Z, I believe, was just the best blade that they've ever really made, right? And then they made like all these DLC and DLC 2.0, and then they just did like these graphite blade, all these different blades. And really when it came down to it, almost every one of us who tried those wound up putting the old original blade back on. So I think Babyliss came out and they got it right out of the gate. But like any company, man, you try to make improvements and you make it, you make it kind of worse sometimes. He said, you missed my question though. Is Babyliss still considered elite when we're talking about shavers? I think so. Yeah, I think it's definitely considered elite. You know, they're pretty good shavers at the end of the day. And if you want a good shaver, they certainly have some good shavers. There's no question about it. In fact, that was the one thing throughout all of the years of me doing the best of clippers, best of trimmers, best of shavers. One of the places where Babyliss consistently had Stylecraft, and it was shavers. You know, they had the FX3 shaver. That shaver was so good. And then they had the stick shavers. Those stick shavers were really good. And then finally, you know, we kind of figured out our stuff. And when we came through with the Instinct, I think the Instinct is more powerful than any shaver that's out there on the market right now. And you'll notice a huge difference when you pick up an Instinct shaver and you just see this hair just disappear. The Babyliss UV shavers, those were really good shavers too. Those were really hard to beat as well. Super smooth, super smooth. Said I'm still waiting for the Echo taper blade to drop. You might be waiting a little longer than expected. I was talking about this the other day with the team, and I'm hoping we can get them out as soon as possible. But every new clipper basically that comes out with a new blade and stuff like that, you know, it just takes a little bit of time. But we do want to, we're not like other companies in a way where we're like holding back on it. It's just time, because when you come out with something new, you never know. Even though I knew it was going to be great, you never know completely how great things are going to be. And then when people are loving them and starting to ask for them, that's when it's like, oh, we got to get some. So they'll be coming out before long. They will be coming out before long. So, all right, guys, just to round out everything that we talked about real quick before we roll out. We talked about all of the different things that people say or do in the shop, which was kind of fun. And, you know, we'll be going live like this more often. If you guys enjoy lives like this, where we're just sitting in the studio chatting, bringing stuff up, double tap the middle of the screen, guys. We almost got to 50 likes, which kind of sucks. But we actually got like 400 likes when I cut my own hair on Saturday, and 43,000 views. So it's just like obvious that you guys like seeing me do that. And that was the first time that we ever actually got to over 200 likes during a live. So I've actually never done that before. I was so happy after all the hard work and all the consistent grinding on the lives and doing all this stuff. So you said that's how it is with Dodge. Let's see here. Man, these comments, they come out so small when I look at them over here. I don't know why. It's probably because I got it as a short. But he said basically that's how it is with cars. Dodge came back with Chargers and Challengers, and they're junk compared to the original classics from the 60s and 70s. I agree with that 100%, dude. If you look at those old Challengers or Chargers, I wouldn't say Challengers, I'm saying the old Chargers, this was a time where cars were just really probably at their best. The Mustangs were so much more beautiful than they are now. Like all of the cars in the 60s and 70s, the Judge, the Pontiacs, the GTO, the Buick Grand Nationals, like all of those cars, you see some of the like remakes of these things and you're just like, okay. I think Corvette's got it figured out. They made some really dope vehicles. And, you know, when it comes down to it, newer is not always better. Obviously they're better. They're more gas efficient or this or that. But some of the old classic stuff, it's just difficult to beat. It's just difficult to beat. And speaking of getting beat, I cannot believe the Bills won that game yesterday. The Buffalo Bills really are a hard team to, like, I've been a fan my whole life. It's a hard team to understand. I don't even know who this team is. They come out and they can look like the greatest team that ever lived, and they come out and look like a group of incompetent folks who have no clue what's going on. All right, so I was happy yesterday sitting back watching the games, and now we just got to catch up to the Patriots. So he said a F-160 Raptor. I don't even know what you're talking about. So, all right, you guys, check out the Black Friday deals. Keep your eyes peeled for the next couple of days. I think we got roughly around a week and a half before some of the deals really start to pop out. But yeah, man, I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Right now, the booked in deal is live. You guys can go to the booked in site right now. I've linked it in the description. I've also linked all the stuff we talked about in the description down below, so that you guys can go to these sites if you're wanting to get anything. But one of the biggest deals that I've ever seen booked in do, if you guys want a good appointment scheduling software, it is live currently right now. So you guys can actually go and you can get the Black Friday offer and try out this service that I use myself personally for booking appointments. It's very easy. There's no app to download. Like literally you put your name in, pick what service you want, pick what barber you want, and you're off to the races. It's brought a lot of, it's brought my stress down for sure, having an appointment scheduling app to do it with. So if you guys are looking for one, This is a very aggressive Black Friday deal. And also, man, if you guys see any Black Friday deals on anything, I want to hear. I want to hear about them. So drop it in the comments once this live is over. And the other two that we talked about, where Stylecraft is doing a huge one. And you'll find them all linked down below. That website is booked in. It's actually just bookedin.com. But if you go to the actual link, that's where you'll find it. So VIP phase, I'll put it back up for you for a second. But it's linked in the description to this video. So if you guys click on the description, you'll see where it is. Between that, Fort Worth Barber Supply is definitely going to be running some competitive sales as well. And I know Stylecraft is going to do their biggest sale that they have ever done on ever from the beginning of time here. So that's those are the three main things that I'm aware of. Now, if there's bigger and better Black Friday deals that you guys are aware of, let me know in the comments. I'm definitely curious about it, especially when it comes to camera stuff. And their website is bookedin.com. So with that being said, I do appreciate all of you guys for kicking it, hanging out with me, and being live with me for over an hour. And he said, let's talk about JDM versus Islam UFC 322. Maybe we will do that in the next live. I will definitely be going live probably tomorrow during the workday. And let's see how busy the booked in schedules got me tomorrow. So this is kind of what it looks like. Like today, I'm blocked off because it's Monday, right? But I go over to my next day and boom, like that's my schedule so far. I'm glad you guys can't read it because I'm not trying to give up no private information. But it looks like we might be able to go live earlier in the morning tomorrow. That's a good haircut to go live with. And I got a couple of customers that were kind of hoping to come in and break my chops about the Bills losing, and that ain't happening. So I'm looking forward to getting in the shop tomorrow. And, our whole Bills is all Buffalo. Our whole shop is all Buffalo Bills now. So I'm looking forward to getting into the shop. The Johnny B Uno foil shaver, that's another great little pickup there, man. If you guys don't have an Uno 2.0, you don't want to spend much, right around like $50. They're practically going to be giving them away in a couple of days. That's a good pickup right there too. So with that being said, this is the YouTube Barber Academy. Over 1,000 videos to help you learn. Subscribe if you're not already. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.